Welcome, glad to have you here. I walked in this room a few minutes ago and became very nostalgic, realizing that the first time I was ever in this room was when I was 17 years old. Believe it or not, it's been here that long. I was in Chicago, second time ever on an airplane, a kid from Arkansas, about to be a first-generation college student, and I was here for a youth conference. There were 2,000 kids at this conference, and I was in this room for a very fancy meal. And like some of you, when I sat down, I looked down and I saw all that silverware, and I thought, what do I do with that? And then I looked at the water glass and said, which one's mine? And which bread plate is mine? And I learned a really valuable thing, a life lesson that day, something called BMW. Not the car. Bread, meal, water. Bread's on the left, meal's in the middle, water's on the right. See, you've already learned something, and we have barely even got started. I'm Michael Stitsworth. I'm one of the associate deans in the college and am responsible for development, chief development officer, which AKA means fundraising, and have the pleasure of being here today to welcome you. And on behalf of all of us who work in the college and alumni relations and development, we are thrilled that you're here, whether you're a student or whether you're an alum. There are actually about 1,000 students, class of 15, class of 16 here in the room. We're great to have you here. Thank you for coming. We realize this is a Saturday morning, and you could very well have done other things on Saturday morning. Slept in, for example, but you made the choice to be here, and we thank you for that. It's a good choice. For the alums, there are about 225 alums in the room, and also for you, we realize that time is precious, and we realize that you could have been doing other things with your day as well, and we're quite grateful to you for giving up your day to engage with our students. All of you are part of the University of Chicago community and the college. And you might wonder how large that is. It's actually about 300,000 strong when we include the students, the faculty, the staff, the parents, our alumni, and friends of the university. Membership in the Alumni Association costs nothing. When you graduate, you automatically become a member for life. You become a part of a huge network that will serve you throughout your career, provide opportunities for you to meet other alums, and help you with career mentorship and so forth. For students, you may be surprised to know that in almost every major city in the United States and even around the world, there is a University of Chicago alumni club. They do all kinds of really neat things. They offer trips, they get together for networking, they do things like organize career mentorship programs, and they do some really cool stuff too, like beer and wine tastings. And it's something that we hope once you graduate that you'll connect with your local alumni club and become part of that group. All of us in the college and all of us in alumni relations and development, all the alums in this room are invested in your success. You can depend on us, you can depend on the entire alumni community to be with you throughout your career and your time as an alum at the University of Chicago. It's really a gift to receive a college degree. And I think to receive a University of Chicago degree is a tremendous gift. And with every gift comes an obligation to use that gift to do good, but also to pay that gift forward. And you as alumni and students who will very shortly thereafter be alumni, you have a great opportunity to do this through your service, through your time, through your generosity, through your gifts that pay for things just like this lunch. And we're most appreciative of that. When you graduate, for students, you're going to get a diploma, just like these alums at the tables received when they went through graduation. It's a little bit like a stock certificate. If you buy a share of stock in a company, it has a value on the day that you get it. And the worth of the stock goes up or down depending on how well the company does or doesn't do. A university diploma is no different. So you are investing in the success of the University of Chicago and the college. And we depend on you, we will depend on you to support us with your time, your energy, your philanthropic support in the future, because all of us are invested in taking the University of Chicago to the next level. And today is a part of that process. So thank you for being here. We're delighted to have you with us and hope that you have a very, very enjoyable day. It's my pleasure now to introduce Stephen Windeborn, who is class of 15. Stephen is the third-year co-chair of Taking the Next Step, and I will turn it over to you, Stephen.
Thank you, Dean Stitsworth. Good morning, everyone. My name is Stephen Windeborn, and on behalf of the college, staff coordinators, and student committee, I would like to welcome you to Taking the Next Step 2014. I'd like to begin by thanking the college for supporting this great event, as well as thanking the alumni who have volunteered to share their experiences and advice. These alumni, many of whom have traveled from far away to be with you today, represent an enormous breadth of industries and occupations. I encourage all students to take this lunch roundtable opportunity to ask questions and learn how the alumni transformed their liberal arts education into a fulfilling and successful career. Please remember that not that long ago, these alumni faced the same opportunities and uncertainties that you may have regarding post-graduation plans. This event is an unparalleled chance for you to discover some insight that may influence your path beyond the University of Chicago. The padfolios that you have all received can be used to take notes throughout the day, and the Taking the Next Step program will guide you through today's event, in addition to including a directory of alumni contact information. With that, I will let the conversations at your roundtables resume, and I hope you gain valuable wisdom over lunch. Thank you. It is my privilege to introduce and welcome John W. Boyer, Dean of the college. Dean Boyer was appointed in 1992 and is currently serving his 5th term as dean. During his tenure, he has been instrumental in improving the quality of undergraduate student life, including the creation of programs like Taking the Next Step. Without further ado, Dean Boyer.
I want to start by asking us to give a round of applause for Lori Horvitz, the College Programming Office, and all of the students who... I mentioned last year on this occasion, it's really quite remarkable to stand up and see so many good people who came out for this event, both alums and faculty and students. This event began 16, 17 years ago with Bill Michael and Bob Reisman and myself and a few others had the audacity to invite students to come to a hotel downtown to talk about careers, and a grand total of 200 students showed up, and we were absolutely just astonished and dumbfounded. From that small beginning has come this really quite remarkable and seemingly ever growing an ever more successful event. I think it's successful because of the quality of the people who are involved in it, particularly the alums who have given of their time, my colleagues and the faculty who have given of their time to come here, and strongest thanks to them. And also the quality of the students, because you're a very special group of people. And this event really is really all about you. Now, I was recently at a meeting of some other university officials of other top universities, and people were talking about what they were doing to improve their universities. And so one person talked about all the buildings they were building, and another person talked about all the buildings they were building, and a third person talked about still more of the buildings they were building. And it sounded to me like they were building a lot of buildings with central heating systems. Actually, Robert Maynard Hutchins, one of our former presidents, once defined a university as a collection of faculties held together by a central heating system. And so my turn came, and they came to me, and I said, well, I certainly believe in buildings, and I certainly believe from Chicago in central heating systems. But I don't want to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about that. I want to talk about some human capital things we've been doing. And so I'd like to talk about what we're doing with career support for our students. And so I mentioned that we have this program with the Metcalf internships, and this summer we'll have 1,000 paid internships sponsored by the college and supported by our alums and parents. And I talked about all of the career programs. We have the 8 Chicago Careers In programs, and the great staff we have, the 45 professional people in the careers office that help you guys and the alums. And I talked about the trucks, and I talked about all that stuff, and it sounded to me impressive. And the other people around the room, I had this kind of strange look. They were kind of dumbfounded. They were astonished. They were perplexed. I would even say they were slightly frightened. And so then one person says to me, well, that's all great, but you're the dean of a liberal arts college. Why are you doing that? And I said to myself, I kind of collected my wits, and I said, in my best, University of Chicago, take no prisoners, hyper-intellectualist gaze. I said, sir, the question is not why I am doing this. The question is rather why you are not doing this. Because in fact, all of the initiatives that I just described and the great people that we have working in our career office and our Dean of Students office and the college program office, these are really unparalleled opportunities that are really not available at most of the universities on anything like the scale, and I think I would say the structural imaginativeness that we've been able to create. So let me answer very briefly why are we doing all of this as a liberal arts college? And I think the answer really has to do with the intentions of the men and women who founded our university. The good Baptists and the good other folks who founded this place were certainly very much convinced in the power of ideas and the power of learning for life and the power of learning to transform lives. But men and women who founded this place were also fundamentally convinced, as kind of good, pragmatic Midwestern people, that those skills and those values, those skills of scholarly activity, which we really train our students, I think, better than any other university in the country, they also ought to have a practical impact. They ought to be able to be able to translate it to help the world, to enrich the communities in which we live, to help our families, to help our institutions, to help our professions. And so the boundary between the liberal arts at Chicago and the kind of activities that we're doing now in these career programs has always been a very fluid one. It's been a very open one. And Chicago has always been quite open to the kind of activities that we're doing now. I think we're doing them in a more aggressive and more systematic way, but in a way they go back over a century. So that's why we're doing it, because we believe so much in the liberal arts that the liberal arts should not be hidden under a bushel basket. It ought to be out in the world. They ought to be out in the world in your agency, with your effectiveness, with your commitment and your dynamism and your creativity to improve and to change the world, to make it a better place, to make it a richer place in all the ways that we should make it a richer place, in all the ways, and not make it a richer place necessarily in the ways that it should not be made. So I want to thank you for coming out today, because in a way you helped me answer my own question. The best way to fight a party is to throw a better party. This is a better party. A better party than unemployment, a better party than being clueless, a better party than not really knowing what to do with your life. And the level of talent in this room, the level of engagement, the level of human capital is so high, it would be an extraordinary shame for any one of you to waste that, and for us as people who want to help you to not provide you with the opportunities to enrich and to enrich your own lives and enrich the lives of those on whom you will have a profound impact. So let me conclude by thanking again all of you for coming out. As I said, I certainly believe in central heating systems, and I certainly believe in building buildings, but I'm really most proud of these kinds of investments, these human capital investments that we've made to enrich your lives, to enrich the lives of our alumni. We're very proud of you. We're very proud of the students of the classes 2015 and 2016. I'm very grateful that when you got the thick email, I guess nowadays you get emails, not envelopes, as opposed to the thin, you chose us as opposed to some other schools in either coast. You chose well and you chose right, and I'm very delighted that you chose us. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope that you're all ready to mix and mingle this afternoon with some of our school's great alumni. My name is Sherry Tao, and I'm an international studies major and Spanish minor. I'm also so honored and excited to be your Taking the Next Step fourth-year chair. From up here, you all appear to be rocking the business casual so well that it makes me believe you've already made the transition to adulthood. But I think our keynote speaker, television writer and producer, Ms. Tammy Sager, best sums up our lives right now. She tweets, "At a certain point, I have to stop buying Groupons for yoga classes and start going to them." I think that's a great illustration of our lives as we straddle the line between being responsible and grabbing just one more slice of pizza because it's free. But I am confident that Ms. Sager's words today will provide us not only with a source of inspiration, but also reassurance that we are indeed well on our way. Ms. Sager's career as a television writer and producer of many of our favorite shows, including How I Met Your Mother and 30 Rock, started at the University of Chicago with a degree in mathematics and a love for improv thanks to our very own improv group off campus. After graduation, she joined an improv troupe that took her abroad to the Netherlands. When she returned to the United States, Ms. Sager was hired to tour with a nationally famed touring company, The Second City, and eventually performed on both of their resident stages in Chicago. Most recently, Ms. Sager worked as a writer and consulting producer for the NBC sitcom The Michael J. Fox Show, and as the head writer for the new Comedy Central show, Broad City. Ms. Sager got her start working in television when she was hired as a writer for Fox's long-lived sketch show, Mad TV. After her time there, she wrote on the USA Network show, Psych, and then for 2 seasons on NBC's critically acclaimed 30 Rock, before eventually returning to Los Angeles to write for the hit CBS show, How I Met Your Mother. She was then promoted to co-executive producer before moving back to New York in 2013. In addition to writing, Ms. Sager continues to perform comedy. She improvises weekly at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater in New York, and you can catch her on an upcoming episode of The Kroll Show on Comedy Central. So we can take a few things away from Ms. Sager's professional path. Namely, that 1, we are never sure what the future might bring, and that 2, it is completely and utterly possible we will end up doing something that we love. And now, to kick off this fabulous chapter of our lives, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our 2014 Taking the Next Step keynote speaker, Ms. Tammy Sager.
Hello, wow. When I went to school here, there is no way that we would have had 1,200 students dressed up so nicely at an event downtown. So heads up on 2 things. 1, this is my business casual. And 2, I didn't realize there would be 1,200 people here and this would be filmed. I assumed that it would be my kind of U of C, which was like 200 grubby kids. So keep that in mind. I thought I would start with one of my favorite jokes. It was actually told to me by U of C alum Bernie Solins, class of 43, co-founder of the Second City. And it was told to him by a 6-year-old. What did the snail say on the turtle's back? Whee! I told that joke because I think it raises an important point. I want to get laughs. Now, I went into comedy because something inside me is broken that only the approval of strangers can fix. I mean, I know you guys can't really fix it. And honestly, my goal here today is to impart some hard-won wisdom, lessons that I learned from the pretty circuitous path my career has taken. But I'm also probably going to tell some jokes, because your laughter feels like love and I'm desperately alone. But that's not what this is about, guys. It's not. I know that. I know that. So I was asked to reflect on my career and to talk, share some valuable insights that I've learned along the way, pass on advice to you 19 and 20-year-olds as you head out into the world. So here's what I got. Screw you. You're 19 and 20. You're fine. You're better than fine. Don't spend a Saturday in a hotel ballroom. Go to the gym. Get in the best shape of your life. You should be studying at Crerar. Is Crerar still the place where the hardcore studying happens? Yeah. Do that on a Saturday. Flex that big neuroplastic youthful brain of yours. You should be out there talking and flirting and kissing 19 and 20-year-olds. It's not creepy when you guys do it. You're at the perfect age. Encourage each other to go to the gym. What you can do right now will make such a difference. Your bodies are so young. I ran a marathon 2 months ago. You can't tell. Like, I think the snail on the turtle's back is actually an apt metaphor for what you're going through right now. I know it feels like you are hurtling out of control into your future, but you're not. Our careers are made up of a million tiny little turtle steps, and it just feels scary because right now you're a snail. I mean, there is another way to tell that joke where the punchline is that the snail on the turtle's back says, "Whoa, slow down." But it's not as funny a joke, and it's not as fun a way to live a life. Enjoy this ride. Okay, here's another piece of advice. Don't ask me for a job. You know how many strangers have tracked me down on Facebook and done that? Finding someone you don't know on social media and asking them for favors is not taking initiative. Learn how to work out properly, like with weights and stuff. Supplement it with Pilates so you have a strong core. Apparently it's all about the core. I don't know. I started really late. My career path, I started college when I was 16. I didn't have a high school diploma, but I did have a scholarship. I was terrified of leaving the U of C without graduating because then I would be left with no diplomas. I had wonderful, incredibly overbearing parents who lived in Hyde Park and who nearly suffocated me with their discipline and love. They forced me to live at home my second year. I had to ask permission to go study at the library, and most of the time I didn't get it. That's my career path. I read Emile Durkheim for Soch, The Elementary Forms of Religious Life. Our assignment was to observe a social group on campus and analyze their totems and rituals. Most people went to the fraternities and sororities. One girl went to a Quaker meeting, and I shadowed the college improv group off campus. I went to a bunch of their rehearsals, their show, their after-show party. I had permission from my parents to go because of the paper I had to write. My father is a brilliant mathematician who would quiz me on my other classes. Sociology got a free pass that physics and analysis and algebraic topology did not. I went on a date with one of the off-off guys, became best friends with one of the off-off girls. She convinced me to audition for the group in the spring. She told me I was funny. And with that, I was free. I finally gave myself permission. My career path involves getting briefly disowned by my parents. It involves moving to Amsterdam for a paid gig doing sketch comedy while I was still in college. I had to take off my spring quarter, finish up Western Civ when I got back. The university was incredibly accommodating, and I graduated in December. My parents didn't go to graduation, which was okay because I had to wait tables that day, so I missed it too. Come to think of it, I still don't have any diplomas. Telling you my career path feels a little bit like telling you guys a folk tale. These aren't footprints for you to follow. It's the story of the colors in the sky. Follow your own path. Know that the sky is bigger than all of us. Know that there are more colors than you can imagine. Just take the next right little step. That's all. Just the next right little turtle step. I wanted to be a mathematician desperately until I didn't anymore. Losing my passion for math broke my heart, and I was terrified about what to do next. And then I discovered a new passion. That's the best part about being 19 and 20. That is the best part about being human. These passions, they're important. Listen to them. Follow what feels right. That's not the same as following what feels good. If I did what felt good, I would never leave my bed. It's disgusting outside. Good job getting here, you guys. I'm totally serious. Those puddles of ice and slush were horrifying. I was 20, and I realized I wanted to do improv, whatever that meant. It's not exactly a sound career trajectory, but it felt right. It spoke to something deep inside. So I took improv classes all over town. I met other people like me, and I took jobs. I waited tables. I taught math. I worked at the seminary bookstore, but in the back, in shipping, in a lonely office, 8 hours a day by myself using an industrial stapler that gave me bad carpal tunnel after 3 days. Like, I couldn't lift my arm over this. But I tasted freedom, and I would not turn back. I went to watch as many shows as I could, and I created things with the people I met in my classes. If I had known that this was going to be my career, I probably wouldn't have gone to the U of C. If there are any schools that directly funnel into the Hollywood comedy writing scene, it's Harvard, Syracuse, Emerson, and God bless them, Northwestern. Thank you, God, that I did not know my career path, because what I got out of the U of C was so much bigger than connections. I got to connect with a life of the mind, with a life of great people with great minds. I maybe got a little too much with the life of the mind. Honestly, I really should have gone to the gym a little more. I'm working on it now. I think I get to get a trainer. I don't know what I'm doing. The university forced me to take classes outside of my comfort zone. Comfort is dangerous. Comfort has a siren's call that will keep you stuck. Comfort convinces you that whatever's out there isn't worth the hassle because you're so comfortable now. You're fine doing what you're good at instead of failing at what you want to do. You're fine connecting on a screen instead of going out there and risking heartbreak with real relationships. What is going on with Catfish, you guys? Seriously, you know that show Catfish? These people are having relationships for like 2 years online before they meet each other. Go out there. You guys are doing it. You're going to such a difficult, challenging, awesome school. You live in such a difficult, challenging, not awesome climate. This weather sucks so bad. But keep up the fight. Go forward with fierce determination. Don't live with your parents. And I'm not talking about like with me when I didn't want to. I mean like all those kids that I meet in New York who are moving back with their parents because their parents are their buddies. Be uncomfortable. Strive. Be broke and deal with cockroaches and scary roommates. Juggle too many jobs that don't pay enough. Find the thing you desperately want to do and then try like hell to get it. You only have to worry about taking the next right step. And you might discover you no longer want that thing that you thought you did. But what you will learn by taking that next step will get you where you're supposed to go. Things will get in your way. If you approach these obstacles in the right way, if you tackle them, if you ask for help, which, by the way, is not the same as asking for a job. Asking for help is good. Look, I'm not even on Facebook anymore because people kept asking me for jobs, strangers. That, and also I couldn't deal with everybody's birthday every day. It was just like this whole thing, like every day, do you write HBD or do we just like, we know it's a, no. These things that get in your way, these obstacles, the parents who disown you, the pot that dislodges you, the heartbreak that destroys you, all of that makes you stronger. Nietzsche was right about that. That which does not kill us makes us stronger. But you have to work at it. Go to the gym, go to AA, go to therapy, meet somebody new, get another job, work your ass off. Be somebody people want to work with. Nietzsche also said, he who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. Oh, I like that one. I want to tell you guys another joke. The guy's drinking in a bar. And he spits up a little bit on himself on his shirt, and he freaks out. And the bartender's like, buddy, it's okay. We'll get some seltzer water. And he's like, you don't understand. My wife is on me for my drinking. She's going to kill me. And he's like, tell you what you do. You got $20? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, put a $20 bill in your shirt pocket. When you get home tonight, say somebody threw up on your shirt, and he gave you $20 to get your shirt dry cleaned. And he's like, okay, good. So he stays at the bar, drinks all night, stumbles home, blind drunk, 4 a.m. His wife immediately is on him. She's like, we talked about this, you have a problem. He's like, it's okay, look at my shirt pocket. Look at my shirt. And she goes, what? And he goes, this guy threw up on my shirt, gave me $20 to get my shirt cleaned. She goes, there's $60 here. He also shit my pants. All right, I'm not gonna lie and say that joke is a metaphor. It's just a great joke. But it does remind me of a story, something that I'm gonna end on. It's a story about telling a story. Being in a writer's room on a TV show, that's what you do all day long. You're in a room with 10 other people, sometimes till 5 a.m, weekends. You're there 80 hours a day. I wasn't kidding when I said be somebody that people want to work with. Shower. Be pleasant. You're at the U of C, you know how to work hard, but seriously, the showering and being pleasant is very important too. Anyway, it was my second day at 30 Rock. I came on the second season, so I already was in love with the show. The first season was my favorite show in the world. I was terrified. Fear is not a bad thing as long as you don't give in to it. So I pressed on and I told them a story because I thought it would be a good Liz Lemon story. It was a poop my pants story. Look, we all have that kind of story. If you don't yet, you will. And true confidence is being able to tell that story in front of 1,200 people when it's being recorded, and I don't have that confidence, so I'm not going to tell that story. But I did tell it that day at 30 Rock, and it was like all the air left the room. I was with all these Harvard guys who don't tell those kinds of stories. They acted like they never shit their pants. They acted like they never shit. It was horrible. But remember, it just feels that big because you're a snail. It's all happening at a turtle's pace. I stayed 2 more years there. It was fine. I lived, and I learned my lesson. Don't tell that kind of story on the second day of a new job where you don't know people. And I have not. When I started at How I Met Your Mother, I told that story on the first day. You know what? And it killed. So I guess that's my advice. Keep going. Do the next right thing, and eventually you end up where you belong. Then it'll be my pleasure to offer you a job. Although honestly, by that point, I'll probably be asking you for one. And you don't have to give it to me. I mean, why would you? I started this speech by saying, screw you. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you so much, Ms. Tammy Sager, for coming to speak with us today. Your career as a UChicago alumna is inspiring, and we are so glad that you could take the time to share some of your wisdom and experience with us. I'd also like to thank the amazing alumni in the room who have traveled from all over the country to help current students take the next step toward a successful life after UChicago. Your time and advice is greatly appreciated. I am Tess Moran of the class of 2016, and I am the second-year co-chair for Taking the Next Step. As you continue your conversations with the alumni at your table, please take a moment to review the alumni bios and choose which panel sessions you plan to attend this afternoon. The schedule is designed to allow you to attend 2 panels, one during each session, separated by a 15-minute break. Panel session A will begin at 2 o'clock and go until 3:15, and panel session B will run from 3:30 until 4:45. By asking questions and actively participating during the panel sessions with our alumni, you will be able to better understand your specific areas of professional interest and how they can translate into a successful postgraduate career. I want to thank all the students in attendance today. I'm glad that you all made it back despite the polar vortex and are able to take advantage of this fantastic opportunity. Shuttles will be traveling from the hotel back to campus until 5:30 p.m. tonight. However, I encourage you to take full advantage of this time downtown to explore the city. Find a new restaurant, go see a movie, or buy some extra warm winter gear. It is, after all, still only January 11th. As a reminder, you can take advantage of the South Loop Weekend Shuttle, which leaves from the Roosevelt and State Transit Station every hour on the half hour until 12:30 a.m. Finally, I'd like to thank the college programming office, and career advancement, along with the student coordinators and co-chairs, for putting together this amazing event. I hope that you all have a fun, engaging, and enriching afternoon. On behalf of the college and the Taking the Next Step Planning Committee, thank you again to Tammy Sager and all of our alumni volunteers. We hope you all have a wonderful time today at Taking the Next Step.